Hi, I'm Eric Westrich, and you're watching Startup Show San Diego, a startup TV show about startup companies. And this week, we're at the EsriUC conference, and we're in the startup zone with Joseph Haladi from Civil Maps. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, how did you get started with startup companies?
Well, I worked in large corporations, large conglomerates for a very long time. And through one pain point after another, I realized I might not have the right skills and personality to work in a large corporation, and that I really work best on my own in or in a small team and in an entrepreneurial environment, an aggressive environment, seeking to do lots of business development and growth of small companies. So naturally, that's the startup world and not large corporate America.
And this particular passion for Civil Maps, where'd that start? How did you get passionate about that?
Well, that's a great question. It was actually this time last year, it's kind of my 1-year anniversary. I was working as a consultant for a large conglomerate and working with them to solve a problem for a particular engineering company. And one inquiry led to another, and I found Civil Maps, and I found their technology so compelling and such a great solution to the problem that I worked with the company to introduce the solution to the organization and use it as a long-term solution, and it worked out very well. So I got hands-on results of how powerful it was as a technology. And in fact, I liked it so much, I left that company, bought into Civil Maps, and became a major investor in the company. And now I work with them full-time to commercialize their products.
Wow, so what does Civil Maps do? What is the big problem in the world that you're solving?
So Civil Maps is an artificial intelligence company, and we use artificial intelligence to post-process large LiDAR data sets, 3D data sets, and do automated feature extraction for it. And this is really important right now because the autonomous vehicle industry is really coming to fruition in the world, but the whole world needs to be remapped for autonomous vehicles and for autonomous machines because they don't use the kind of maps that humans are used to producing. So the whole world needs to be remapped at a very large scale very quickly, and the traditional ways of mapping just can't scale to that. So the solution to doing that is using artificial intelligence. And we've developed world-leading technology in that field, and I just find the technology so fascinating and so compelling, and I love the autonomous vehicle story, because I'm really quite passionate about the idea of future generations not having to learn how to drive and not being in car accidents and children not getting hit in crosswalks, and to be a part of that is actually very exciting.
And being able to drive when you get old.
And being able to drive and maintain my lifestyle when I'm old.
Or when you're young.
Or when you're young. And my role in the company is actually now taking that technology stack that we've developed for the car OEMs and commercializing it in the rest of the geospatial world, and leveraging my background in engineering GIS. We've had a tremendous amount of success rolling it out to engineering companies, municipalities, departments of transportation and so forth, and helping them do large-scale regional mapping very inexpensively, very quickly, with very little environmental and health safety impacts.
So, Joseph, what is the biggest challenge anybody has dumped in your lap so far with this?
The biggest challenge is having to do large-scale regional mapping with disparate LiDAR data sets collected at various resolutions from various devices through time, and bringing them all together. But we've actually very recently had a lot of milestones of doing exceptionally large projects and bringing them all together and providing to the customer exactly what they wanted in the end, despite the disparate data sets that they gave us in the initial field.
Best thing a customer's ever said to you, something that made you the proudest or the happiest?
That we were able to map a very large area for a new capital pipeline without sending really very many people to the field, without disturbing any landowners, and help them in a very environmentally responsible way reroute that pipeline or plan the routing for that pipeline with essentially no environmental impact by sending surveyors out to the field.
So when we interview you next year, what does this look like? How is it different from this year?
Well, I think the main thing is I'll have a lot more other stories and anecdotes from across the various industries around the world in infrastructure, in urban planning, in forestry management, and in other areas that need large-scale regional mapping. So we'll just have a lot more customers with a lot more fascinating geographies that we've had to map.
And the most important question, if somebody wants to get a hold of Civil Maps and you, how do they do that?
They just email us at info@civilmaps.com.
Very good. Joseph, thanks for your time, and Thank you for watching Startup Show San Diego.